So hello and welcome to this video on the Make Noise and Soundhack Erbe-Verb. Let's check out some of what's to come in the video. So to start with, we'll quickly run down the controls, but the Make Noise and Soundhack Erbe-Verb is an algorithm or preset-free, continually variable reverb. We've got control over size, which goes from coffin-like, and there's suggestions for settings for a low-cost oak coffin or a luxury absorbent cushioned coffin in the manual, right up through kind of plates and rooms, halls, cathedrals, right up to these heavenly huge reverbs, which is great for any kind of purveyor of ambience and drones. We control an internal modulation speed and choose from cyclic or ergodic modulation. To the right, the ergodic will give us shimmers. To the left, we'll get more typical, just kind of LFO style modulation of the internal reverb algorithm. Have a pre-delay, which when we plug a tempo signal in will become a divider or multiplier of a clock signal in the tempo. So if you want a pre-delay of a quarter note or a 16th or an 8th note before this kind of diffused echo comes in with longer pre-delays, you can do it. And that's a nice unique feature. We have a tilt, which just works like a kind of standard tone pot. Less high end, more low end to the left, more high end, less low end to the right. We have an absorb, which is going to kind of take all the energy out of the reverb, more apparent with longer decays, and a decay that will go infinite and oscillate. As well, we can reverse the delay and also do that with external signals. We've got a mix that we can CV, input level, which is mono, stereo output, you can take the left output as mono if you wish, and a CV output, which is an envelope follower over the reverb, which is what you're looking at on the Modax data. So let's get into it. I'm just going to play around and show you a range of potential tones over this synth sequence. So there's your kind of coffin reverb. We can get some great chorus-like modulations with a really low size, low decay, and some modulation. With some nice chorus-like effects. More standard reverbs, very shapeable with the tilt and the absorb. That's the pre-delay. Into bigger hall cathedral-like sounds. So these huge heavenly-like reverb drones. If you want this to just sit kind of decaying but without actually starting to oscillate and feed back and build in volume, a nice trick is to take the CV output into the decay, CV input, and invert it. So we can turn this up full, where normally this is going to run away with itself. As the output level increases, so does the CV out, and we're now inverting it to pull it back down. It will keep this sat at a kind of infinite level, and you can balance out the decay and the inverted CV in to do that. We've got CV inputs over everything, LFO over tilt. Let's just get a normal kind of verb back, and here's the LFO. You can hear that tilt being pushed around. Let's try LFO over decay. We can do the shimmer effect. Let's LFO the depth. You can hear that modulation changing. Going to LFO the modulation speed. You get the point. This is a really wide-ranging, hugely variable reverb machine. So in this patch, we're going to look at using the Erbe-Verb to turn a single oscillator, which is this Erica Synths Black VCO, into something stereo, which we can then put down through a stereo chain through the rest of the patch. So at the minute, my oscillator's coming straight in. This is dry. The left and the right outs are going to two different low-pass gates, which I'm just going to close up, be a bit more plucky. So left out into one low-pass gate, right out into another, and then I'm recording the two low-pass gates hard-panned left and right. And these low-pass gates, as you can hear, are being struck by different rhythms. Let's turn this up fully wet. So we've got tonal differences. We've actually got a stereo image going into the two low-pass gates now, not the same signal. And we can just use this as a kind of tonal shaper to go over our droning oscillators. Let's open up these low-pass gates. And let's try an LFO to tilt. Close the low pass gates. So we've got stereo image and tonal differences. That decay control, again, let's open the low pass gates up a bit. Especially when we modulate it with some great metallic chorusing. So it's great as a non-end of chain device like you'd think of a reverb. Get it right next to the oscillators before anything else, and experiment and play around with creating stereo images and these moving, chorusing, droning tones that you can put on top of your sources at the input. Let's try the LFO to the mix. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's slow the LFO down. Yeah, that sounds great. So let's explore the erbe-verb on drums. I have the tempo plugged in, which is a clock from my sequencer that is sequencing the drum sounds. That's the top trace on data. As has been in the rest of the video, the bottom trace is the CV output, straight from the erbe-verb, the amplitude envelope follower output that we get. So let's just play around with this on drums. Oh, the shimmer with that really low size is cool. It's really kind of weird and alien. Let's play around with that pre-delay. Nice springy, fast echo kind of sound. You can hear this turn to an echo that's clocked by the tempo. And there's lots of kind of interesting pumping effects to be had by reversing the reverb when it's clocked in time against the drums as well. So we've already seen in the video that cranking up the decay makes this oscillate and feedback and create drones and oscillating tones of its own. So let's do that and let's explore modulating it, and then we'll modulate the mix as if this is a VCA and try and get some kind of more unique percussion sounds out of this kind of wailing feedback drone that the erbe-verb can create. So first, let's get the decay up. Get this thing screaming. I'm going to bring the CV output back into decay, just kind of keep it hanging in one place. Let's try an LFO to tilt. Let's say some sample and hold to size. Creates these crashes and kind of cavernous cracks and bangs into the reverb when you actually smack this stepped sample and hold right into the size. I scale it back a bit. Let's say envelope to depth for modulation. And then LFO to absorb. And it's something straight out of a horror soundtrack. Kind of demented, demonic tones. Definitely a creative kind of sound design tool as much as it is just a reverb to run as a send effect as you would any other reverb, but just wildly varying in potential. Let's add an envelope to the mix, and this becomes a CV attenuator. Pick a faster rhythm to hit this with. Going to take the modulation out of it, absorb. Getting that shimmer going with a higher depth. It's almost a kind of cowbell-like tone at points, that dissonant metallic tone that you get in electronic drum machines. So throughout the video, we've been using the Erbe-Verb in various different ways, but I'm going to use it just like a very standard reverb on a send effect from my mixer and send some drums and chord sounds in. Or rather a little synth riff. So here's the dry sound, synth riff and drums. What I'm sending in, you can see on data. Let's give it a little clap. Let's set up like a nice long lush verb for this little synth riff to sit in. Let's try a clap into that. It's got this nice shimmery ring. So that's the Erbe-Verb from Make Noise. Experiment with your reverbs, let it create a stereo image for you, put it right at the start of the chain, use it as an oscillator, a percussion source. If you hit this with a nice tight envelope, there's a ton of potential. Thanks for watching this Future Music magazine video for our Modular Monthly series on the Make Noise and Soundhack Erbe-Verb. And check out the channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.